Live. It's Tuesday, July 11th, 2023. We are celebrating our 1 year anniversary with IX Global and the Debt Box. We got the one, the only Travis Flaherty here tonight. Guys, I'm excited. Let's get right into it.
On my cash stack, high yields on stable coins, yeah, that's where my bag at. All I really need is Wi-Fi, getting money on DeFi, mega cash on MetaMask. You better run when the runners run, show you how to get your money up. Dollar inflated like bubble gum, markets are jumping like double dutch. Buying up gold till I get a ton, crypto, yeah, I got some. You better run when the runners run, you better run when the runners.
All right, guys, I'm super pumped and excited. As always, I got my brother here, Ricardo Hamilton, aka Mims. Make it make sense. My man, can you believe it's been 1 year already?
Man, 1 year, fired up and excited. Lace up, let's get wealthy. And I'm telling you, folks, I always get excited anytime we got our brother Travis Flaherty with us. All the Zooms, all the presentations, all the live streams are fire. It's a chemistry, it's a family, it's love, and we just love what we're doing, having so much fun. So, folks, get ready. This is gonna be one of the best streams that we always do. Every time we always do a stream. We got Travis Flaherty, man. It's gonna be fun. 1 year anniversary, Mike. It's huge. 1 year anniversary, man.
Man,
Crazy.
I love it. I've been looking forward to this day because I knew how this project would change so many lives, and that's what I love, seeing happen. And I just got to say, guys, like, this is why I love what I do, right? I get to meet people like Travis Flaherty, people who are entrepreneurs, people who just pour into other people. So I just have so much respect and, gratitude towards this man who has shown me how to live, who has mentored us, who has taught us so much in the last year. And I can't imagine where we would be without him. So without any further ado, let's get the man of the hour in here. Travis A. Flaherty is in the house.
Hey!
Let's go, baby.
Up, brother?
Oh, it's so good to be back with my brothers. I love it when we come together and we get a chance to just rap a little bit about what's going on. And somehow or another, are these Zooms always, there's just great chemistry. You said the word, Ricardo, earlier. And so I always look forward to being on the Runner Show.
Yeah.
Well, Travis, before we get into like our 1 year anniversary, you got to tell me, how amazing was your last European trip? I mean, give me some of the highlights, because I was jealous. I'm like, all right, I'm going to be Travis. I'm going to Italy or wherever you went. It looked amazing.
So I went to the French Riviera. So we flew into Nice, France, and spent a little bit of time in Nice. And then we went down to Monte Carlo. And the purpose for my trip, first and foremost, started out as I was going to a mastermind. It was called a Leader of Leaders Mastermind, 7-figure earners in network marketing, held by Rob Sperry. He called me up, and there's a lesson in the way that he approached me. He says this to me. He says, listen, Travis, I can't think of anybody better than to go to Monte Carlo and dress up in a tuxedo like James Bond and go to the famous Monte Carlo casino with than you. Now, I want you to hear what he just did to me, because in my mind, I'm already, right, Mike? Like, I'm picturing the whole thing. I've already got the tuxedo picked out. My beautiful wife in my hand, walking up the steps of this historic casino in my mind, just as he's asking me if I'm open.
Painted the picture.
Yes.
Painted the picture.
Wow. That's it right there. Like I said, Rob, you had me at tuxedo and Monte Carlo casino. So what did happen though was we have been, sometimes as leaders, you spend a lot of time nourishing and feeding and nourishing. And so sometimes you tend to neglect yourself and feeding yourself, and you can run, you become stagnant. It's like stagnant water, right? And so for me, going there and spending 3 days with these other leaders, nobody talks about their companies at all. They just talk about ideas. And I came away just feeling like, man, I really needed this more than I came here to go to Monte Carlo and dress up in a tuxedo.
Right.
I came away just feeling so nourished and so uplifted. As God would have it, or whatever you believe in and your faith. But, I started a conversation off with some leaders in Italy a few weeks prior to the decision of me going to Monte Carlo. And so I just said to them, hey, just so happens I'm going to be over in Monte Carlo, which is an hour flight over to Rome. Let's get an event together. Let's do this. If we're going to do it, let's do it.
Right.
And so we flew into Nice. We went to Monte Carlo for a couple of days. My wife and I, then we went up to Cannes, where the Cannes Film Festival is, flew to Rome, and then we drove to an area called Pescara, Italy, which is about 90 miles on the east side, where we ended up having a big event there with a team that's now on fire. They put about 500 people in the last 3 weeks. And so it was just, honestly, it was a trip of a lifetime. And you have these moments where you're sitting there. We were sitting on this beautiful catamaran in the middle of the French Riviera. We're driving by Bono's house. We're driving by James Bond, Sean Connery's, his chateau. And you're just sitting there and you're thinking, how did I get here?
Is this real?
Yeah, like how did I get here? And then that the appreciation of all of this, the hard work and the emotional ups and downs and the stress and all of it just kind of comes to that moment where you think, man, it wasn't easy, but it was worth it. And that is what network marketing represents to me, fellas. I mean,
right.
I'll say this, do dogs like bones? Do you think dogs like bones?
Oh, they love them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me ask you this. Does a dog like a bone, or would it prefer a juicy ribeye steak with all of the meat and all of the fat on it? Which do you think it would prefer?
Give me that meat and fat, baby.
Yeah.
What network marketing does is what I've just realized. It helps the average person get not just the bone in their life, but it helps them to go get that meat and that juicy fat.
I like
in
that.
steak. That's what network marketing does.
Yeah.
And that's what it's done for me.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
It was a blessing to be a part of that trip. And at the same time, just doing business, right? Network marketers, you don't just they're not on vacation anymore. You know what I do? I just go, I go do business in parts of the world that I just want to travel to.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I absolutely love it, brother. That was a legendary trip, and you're just keep growing, keep going. And again, if you had not done that, and I don't see you do it, then I would not believe that I could do it.
Yeah.
So thank you, because I will go on an Italy trip, and I will think, if I had not seen Travis Flaherty do this, it would have not been put in my mind to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. He sets a phenomenal standard, and it comes down to the lifestyle and the vision. You know what I mean? And that's what this industry affords. And, anybody can do it, but it takes time, and Travis didn't get there overnight, and just like he said, when he was doing that, he's like, is this real? Like, I'm really here. But, there's times in your life where you wouldn't even thought, because of what you were going through, that you're now in this position. And so that's why it's so exciting. So, brother, we love seeing you win. I know I do. And the whole team and everybody, just loves the leadership and what you represent. And, what I'm saying, we're just happy to see you, setting us an example of how to do it right. You know what I mean? And, man, it's exciting. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you guys know that I always talk about thinking bigger, faster, right? I said that the last time I was on here. And you have to be setting new goals to aspire to. And French Riviera for my wife and I was one of those goals. But while I was sitting at this mastermind, I kept looking out the window, and there's these yachts, right? It's summertime in the French Riviera, so everybody brings in their giant yachts, and and I just kept staring at these yachts out there. And so at dinner one night, my wife and I, we went to dinner, and then we took a stroll in the where all the yachts are all in the harbor.
Right.
And I literally took a picture of a yacht, a charter that you can rent. And I wish I could see this up close, but it says, that boat right there says My Legacy. And it is my screensaver. It says My Legacy.
Nice.
Love it.
Ooh,
and I share that with you because now I have a plan and a goal. I need to own the boat. We'll talk about that maybe on my next level. But for me, my next goal is to go charter this boat for a week and take it down to the Amalfi Coast, take my family, take my children, take their spouses, and take
the
us
runners,
all, really go and the runners, and believe it or not, I actually thought about doing a mastermind too, doing the same thing.
there you go.
yeah, that'd be fire.
Doing this,
Sign me up.
and chartering these boats. But where did that vision come from? It came from being there and doing that, that amazing experience. And so that's my new dream board, fellas. Every time I open my phone, I see My Legacy right there on my phone.
Beautiful.
That's perfect. And I love how, you're creating those things. You're putting them in your mind. You're putting them in front of your face so that they're going to happen.
Well, I already know how much it's going to cost. I already.
Yeah, you got all the deets.
It's already done.
It's done.
Yeah.
It's like it's already done in my mind. Because and that's what you have to do. You know what I mean? If you want to go to the French Riviera, do you know how much it's going to cost? Have you have you picked a date that you're going to go? Have you put it in your calendar book? I mean, that's where you've got to go.
Right.
Yeah.
With this, if you truly want to be able to realize those dreams.
Yeah, and this is so fire because we're going somewhere. We're doing it. Travis is leading the way. And we're leading the way, and this company is showing people how it can get done. We're changing lives. We're creating a legacy. We're building wealth and assets. And this is what you have to do. You have to, like Travis said, dream bigger, think bigger. Put these visions of what you want to see in your life, because now more than ever they're manifesting at a faster rate. Things are materializing. We have resources and tools in our hands, so it's exciting to see. And you need people like Travis and people who are having success, so they can show you and keep you motivated, and show you what it looks like. So man, that's fire. I love that boat. Yeah, that's a beautiful boat right there, brother. A yacht. Yeah, I love it.
My legacy.
Yeah.
My legacy.
And we're gonna turn that boat into an NFT. We're gonna need to buy a boat, Travis. I'm manifesting this now. We're turning it into an NFT. We're tokenizing it. We're putting it on the debt chain.
There it is.
All right. Now I don't want to get too far ahead.
Now you got my head thinking.
I just wanted to blow your mind really quick. Ricardo and we've already talked about this when we were in Barcelona, Spain, which I think was the first time we got to meet you. We came up with this idea, and we'll talk about it later, offline. But all right, Travis, it's been 1 year since you joined IX Global and the Debt Box. I think our technical 1 year anniversary is like in a week or two. Maybe as me being a history teacher, I think it's important to tell the stories of how people got to where they're at. So tell us again the story of how you got started with this company, and just the changes and legacy we have left in this last year.
1 year ago today, I put my first post up about this company. I'm going to share it on my wall a little later on here after we're done. But prior to that, I was with another network marketing company that we helped launch. First year went great. Second year, all of a sudden, I noticed that they were paying me only a part of the commissions that they owed me. And that continued on for a period of about 9 months, where they ended up owing us hundreds of thousands of dollars. There's always an excuse, a reason. We're going to catch up. Don't worry. And I was friends with the owner. I built a relationship with him. So to me, I just kind of looked at it like, oh, it's a forced savings account for me. You know what I mean? But pretty soon it got to the point where it was starting to impact my livelihood, and the checks all but stopped altogether. Mm-hmm. And, when you grow accustomed to a certain lifestyle and then the income just starts drying up, you can go for a while and go for a while and go for a while, but eventually it starts to have an impact. And so my wife and I had drawn the line in the sand that July 1st, if we did not receive the money that we were owed, we were done. And so July 1st came and went, and the owner made some commitments, even flew here to Arizona from where he lived and told us it was all going to be good to go. And bottom line is the money never came. So we prayed. My wife and I got together and prayed collectively as a couple and prayed for some guidance and said, what's next for us? Do we leave here? Sometimes it takes courage to be the first to leave in a situation like that, right? Because you develop friendships, relationships. When you're at that high level, a lot of times people don't understand what's going on at the higher level. They don't know. They're not privy to the cash flow issues, right? Because they're still getting paid. And so when you leave, the moment you walk out the door, there's a bunch of arrows that are being shot at you, right? So it's a tough deal, and it's an emotional deal. And so we prayed for some guidance, and I always say, be careful what you pray for, because you never know, what impression that you might be given. And we knew it was time to go. And around that same period of time, within probably 24 hours of that time, Brian Robert called me and said, look, man, I'm not trying to recruit you, but I've got this this software that pays me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You don't have to recruit anybody. You don't have to build a team. And man, I got to tell you, I just felt like I needed to, your name has been on my mind, and I felt like I needed to tell you about it. So lesson here is, number one, never prejudge anybody, because from the outside looking in, he presumed that I was doing great at my company, master distributor. I was the top earner when they actually were writing checks. But the reality was my wife and I were struggling. Like, we were in a financial situation that all of a sudden started turning, started putting debt on credit. We were out of debt, and all of a sudden, you slowly start to put credit card debt on there. It's kind of what people are doing right now in the world, right? With rising costs of everything. And so we were in a tough spot. And, we looked at these licenses, and I know crypto, but my son knows crypto pretty well also. And so I asked Brian if he would present this to Chandler and I both. I wanted Chandler's take on it, different perspective. And so the next morning they came back and did a presentation. And about 2 minutes into the presentation, Chandler goes, is this black gold? Like right in the middle of the presentation. And they, right when they started talking about the satellites, and, he's texting me, he's like, Dad, you don't know who these guys are, but they are the real deal. He's like, I had a chance to get on a phone call with one of their sales guys when they first launched Black Gold at $1,000 a license. They didn't have IX Global. They had a sales floor in Utah. And he said, I honestly just didn't really like the sales guy very much. I felt like he was kind of arrogant. And so I didn't buy the licenses for that reason. And Black Gold went up 120,000%, and it would cost him a couple $1 million because he chose to buy those licenses.
Wow.
So he, on this call, is going, and now they're saying where there's oil, there's natural gas, and they're getting ready to launch this natural gas project. And Black Gold had just had this tremendous success. And Chandler goes, oh, how much are they? And Joe goes, I think we're going to sell them for $2,000, but we haven't even, introduced them in the United States yet. We just started a few weeks ago in India. We don't have any SKUs yet. Chandler goes, I'll buy 10 today. and my son's 22, and I'm I'm over here going, like, I want to do some diligence. I want to check these assets out. I want to look them up on the blockchain.
Yeah.
So I'm texting Chandler going, hey, let's maybe buy one, And he's like, nope, I'll buy 10. Joe's like, well, they're not in the back office yet. I'm sorry. And he's like, no, I'll wire you $20,000 right now. Like, give me your information and I'll send you $20,000. And I'm like, and so Joe's like, okay. And literally he's like, I think we could have you mining by 6 tonight, And so,
yeah, boy, that quick.
Chandler was the first to buy.
It was Chandler. Chandler's the first one that believed.
Yes. So he bought it. He was the guinea pig. It took me another 10, 12 days of diligence of, I had to look on the blog, look up the light papers and look at the blockchain and look at all these things. Then I needed to schedule an interview with the owner, which I'm so thankful we recorded that first interview.
I remember
because we didn't have any presentations, right? We didn't have anything. That served us very well over the, when we eventually launched the debt group. But Chandler was first. And so finally, when I was ready to buy, the dang price went to $2,500.
Oh, Chandler. That's why you got to act quick.
So I spent $5,000 more to find that G's than Chandler did. And so we just started watching it. But still, guys, at this time, the vision had not hit me yet. Like, I wasn't looking at this as a business opportunity because I was thinking it was too high ticket item. Like, it wouldn't duplicate. I didn't think that the masses would be interested. I wasn't there from a biz ops standpoint. Right. And I went to dinner, and this was the infamous dinner. You guys have probably heard about it. I was sitting there with 5 of my friends. In all honesty, it's truly just we go smoke cigars and talk about investments, and there's 5 of us. And we're sitting there, we're talking about land up north that we were looking at buying and maybe franchises. And I said, out of nowhere, I bought some nodes today. And they go, you bought what? And I said, I bought some nodes. Yeah, I bought some nodes. Yeah. And they're like, what the heck is a node? Yeah. And I'm like, well, it's commodity-backed crypto. And they're like, commodity-backed crypto? And I'm like, yeah, it's backed by natural gas. And they're like, I'm like, here. And I pulled out my phone and I opened up the app and I literally showed them the little wheel turning. and the number going up. I go, you see the number going up? They're like, yeah. I'm like, that's money being deposited in my account right now. And their mouth went like, are you said like real money? And I'm like, real money. And they're like, can you withdraw it? I'm like, yeah, here, let me hit withdraw. So I click withdraw. You know, it was just withdrawing it to our own wallet at that point.
Right.
But I withdrew the money, and they're like, how do I get this on my phone? And I watched them, and literally I kind of sat back, and they started firing questions at me. I didn't know the answers. And all I did is I just said, after a minute of kind of like, I was in my own head for a minute of like, I couldn't believe how overwhelmed they were with it.
Right.
And I just kind of came to you and I said, look, I don't know about any of that, but here's what I do know. This thing pays me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it hasn't stopped. And I can send you a presentation with the owner that explains it a lot better than I can.
Right.
And every one of them go, I'll buy 10. I'll buy 10. I'll buy 10. And literally that night, I sold $100,000 worth of that team.
Wow.
I texted Joe and I said, I need you to send me your compensation plan because I think I just sold $100,000. That is where it all started, right there.
Oh man, I'm getting chills. This is crazy.
That was it. All I did is show, and so then I just was like, well, then I was like, well, maybe this was a fluke. So I'd go around and I'd be at barbecues or wherever. I'd be like, you know, let me show you this. I just showing my app.
Yeah.
And you know, and it just started the conversation. And every time I would show the app, I would put them in the group and I'd tag them on Jason's presentation. And they would call me up and they're like, hey, I just pulled 25 grand out of the stock market. I've been trying to find a place to put this. You know, I want to buy $25,000 worth of licenses. And I'm just like, I've never experienced anything like this. And the next 30 days, we sold $4 million worth of licenses.
Wow. Let's Don DeMarco for that, Mike. $4 million in the next 30 days.
Travis always gets Don DeMarco. But I want people to make sure they understood what Travis just said. He had no idea how anything worked. He didn't know the compensation plan. He didn't really probably even understand what nodes were or the tokenomics of anything. He showed people, he shared it with them and said, you know what? I don't know the answer. All I know is I make money every day and I'll send you a video. Keep it simple, stupid. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. You don't need to know everything. I don't know everything. We've been here for a year and I been in crypto for 7 years. You have to get excited about it and want to help more people. Mims, anything you want to add to that amazing story that Travis just told us?
Well, I mean, the first things, folks, is never give up on yourself.
Yep.
You know, always have the right mindset. You see, he started out, he said he led with prayer, him and his wife. And the next thing you know, he gets a call. That's how the universe, that's how God, the creator, works. And, you know, we're going to get more into it. But obviously, he just said in 30 days, you know, so $4 million. And life has changed. And I mean, so before we get, you know, jump ahead too far, that's just a phenomenal story. I mean, there's a lot to take from that. And I hope people really digest that and be able to, you know, absorb it in and then, you know, allow it to, you know, work through you as you go out, you know, manifesting and trying to improve your situation with the opportunities that we have. Man, that was exciting, bro. I was getting chills listening to the story.
Think about it this way, you guys, because where we started was you asked me about the French Riviera. 1 year, everything changed. In 1 year, I went from credit cards that were starting to get close to being maxed out.
Wow.
Bank accounts that were starting to get, you know, to pretty low because I hadn't been paid in a long time.
Yeah.
And getting pretty stressed about situations to all of a sudden I'm sitting in the French Riviera looking at yachts, planning my yacht charter in a year. And so I want you to hear this. It's so important. People underestimate what they can accomplish or they overestimate what they can accomplish in maybe a day or a week or a month. Yeah. But they underestimate what they can accomplish in a year. And I'll prove it to you. You go work out once and you eat a salad, and at night you're already in front of the mirror. Like, do I notice any difference?
Right.
Like, do I see anything? Right? You know, we've all done it, right?
Yeah,
like, you know, one time you're like, but here's the thing: a few simple things. You make a decision, you manage that decision every day with a few simple acts, and all of a sudden, a year later, you're sitting in the French Riviera on a catamaran with multi-million-dollar earners in network marketing.
Wow!
Sitting here talking about when are we going to charter a boat? and how are we going to do it, and where are we going to do it? And that is in a period of 12 months, how
Wow.
quickly everything changed because of a decision.
Wow. Won't he do it, as they say? I mean, that's amazing. That's yeah. A year later, that's stuff you see in movies. You know what I mean? That's movie stuff. Like, but it's real life though.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So you know it's possible, and that, you know, maybe it's not on the same level that Travis has done it, but in your own life, you can experience the same type of results where you're finding yourself having a little more peace of mind because you have some more financial security. You've been able to maybe pay off some debt or do some traveling. All this stuff happened in 1 year, and as far as we're concerned, anybody who's been running with us, especially in the debt box and what we've been doing, you know, all of our lives have been changed, and we're going to see greater amounts of that. But yeah, that's an amazing story. That's right, God did.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
So
and
when we start this journey, Travis, right? I remember joining. You know, you reached out to Cedric Harris. He reached out to us. I asked him 5 questions, 5 minutes. I was in. Like, to me, this is the biggest no-brainer. I was like Chandler. I was like, oh, commodities?
Yeah.
Crypto backed by commodities? I'm game. And, you know, we could still buy black gold back then. We could still buy Nat G, right? Explorer and aluminum were $1,000 when we started.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe just kind of reminisce about those early days, right? In July, August, we got the, you know, the contest to go to Barcelona, Spain. What do you remember from that time? And, you know, what do we want to make sure we mark down in the history books today?
Well, the Black Gold Nat G days, I think coming off of Black Gold and their tremendous success, you know, people were like, oh my gosh, natural gas. I mean, where there's oil, there's natural gas. And so it was a fun project to go and share. It's a project that I believed wholeheartedly in, and to this day have collected and accumulated my tokens.
Yeah.
People don't understand deflationary versus half-life, and maybe we can talk about that a little bit later. Deflationary meaning that it takes a little more time for the project to truly, and the tokenomics to kick in. We just saw what happens with half-life. Half-life can be very non-forgiving if you don't get in early.
Yeah,
the people that got in early on those projects last week realized very quickly the power of accumulation on one of those projects.
That's right.
Yep.
But for me, in the early days, being able to be kind of a pioneer that was going out there and sharing this new concept with the world, it was euphoric for me. And we kept getting met with rejection, or not rejection, but with skepticism. Yeah. And I always say that I don't mind skeptics. I don't deal with cynics, but I don't mind skeptics, because skeptics are willing to be educated. And so that was where, you know, the trip. I remember I flew to Nebraska for the first time and stood on an oil well with a hard hat. I still have it sitting right here.
Yeah.
And I was like, here's the oil. and everybody just went like, this is real. Like, you know, this is actually real. And then we all, of course, had a chance to go to Africa and experience that, and to go and see the gold mines and the high yielding agriculture fields and all these things. So I guess being a part of bringing something to fruition for me brings so much fulfillment. Like, we were the pioneers in the beginning stages with the beginning projects that were going out, and we were just learning about it, but we were going out and educating, and we still are. Mm-hmm. But when you say, what do you want to remember about those days? I think for me, I'm proud to be a part of DebtBox. Like, this is bigger than just a business for me and making money for me. Like, I'm genuinely proud of being a part of progressing and raising the bar in the cryptocurrency space. Like, I believe so much in what we are doing. And I think that may be why I've had the success that I've had, is because I believe more than the skeptic that doesn't believe, right? I outbelieve their disbelief. And that's what I want to remember, is just in those early days. And then Barcelona, you know, being able to go to Barcelona and see that this company, IX Global, I mean, they don't mess around at their events. They put out millions of dollars. And I remember thinking, man, I've been to a lot of events, but dang, these guys are not playing at all. Like they really are treating their team members with respect and just being a part of that community, getting to spend time with you guys and start to bond and build relationships, the culture and the glue starting to come together. That's what I remember.
Yeah.
And so I think my biggest takeaway from that time was at the time we started, I'm just thinking, this is a way I can make money. Like I didn't know about the mission of debt, right? What their goal was with the world. I just thought, hey, this is another cryptocurrency. Let's make money with it. Oh, if I tell people about it, I can make more money. Okay, cool. I had no idea about the humanitarian effort, you know, the changes, the big vision they had to change the world with, you know, energy reduction, environmental protection, actually changing lives in Ghana, Africa, and other places around the world. So to me, those early days, I was very naive. You know, I did not see the big picture at all, but I just ran. And I haven't told anyone this publicly, but Travis, when we first started, there was a month I couldn't log into my account. For whatever reason, I don't know what it was. I didn't care. I didn't hit up support every 7 days. I'm like, oh, I can't log into my account. What's going on here? I knew and trusted the process. And actually, it was probably good because I would have just spent all my time like looking at my rewards and logging in and all that. But I was like, well, I can't log in. I'm just going to keep building and telling more people about this. So Ricardo, you know, your memories on those first days or what you learned from them when we first got started last year in July, August.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I just get really excited because I knew we found something special. Anytime you bring in commodities together with blockchain, and when you understood, you know, what this company was doing with the scanning technology, and you know, we all got excited and still are excited about these projects, NatG, Aluminum, you know, Cinderella, you know, Grow and everything else. And it's just fun to like, you know, everything we've been saying is coming true. You know, everything that we've been telling people, you want to have these tokens, you want to have these nodes. Now some of these nodes are sold out. You know, early on we saw tokenomics take effect when we saw Aluminum and Explore and all these other tokens do about 3-4x, you know, in value. And we see the, you know, Aluminum going past, you know, $1,000 per node, $2,000-$3,000, you know, now per node. And we just see the growth of this project, and it feels really good early on when I look back for me to know that we've been putting people still in the right place. We didn't put them into hype, hope, speculation, false promises. We didn't put them into a rug pull. We didn't, you know, it's a lot of stuff in this crypto space. We bought them and still have something really solid that people can rely on because we know that it's tied to the underlying physical assets. As Travis said, the substance, you know, is there. And we know that you know, the system works and the tokenomics works, and we know that, you know, year after year, as time goes on, it just gets better and better. So, you know, those first early times, of course, very exciting, doing all that traveling, you know, Ghana, Barcelona, you know, it's special. It was some special times, man.
And I think, Travis, I want to hear from you. Is to me the big change in my mindset and where we are going with these companies happened in Ghana. Would that make sense? So maybe put that into the history books of what you found out there and how that kind of changed, I think, the trajectory of what we're doing and where we're going.
Well, I think it's all started with the painting that Mike had made for Ricardo, and I saw the bond happening between the two of them. There was a pretty cool painting. I don't know where it's at, but it was pretty cool.
I'm going to go and grab it here in a second.
Yeah, you got to. It was a nice thing.
I think that we've been talking about these projects for so long that when you finally go there, I mean, we literally were standing in the gold concession pits with people that were, I almost had my head taken off by an axe, like literally by like an inch. Yeah. Like you're there watching it in reality, and we're just sweating and hiking because our buses are stuck in the mud, but we're standing in the middle of Ghana, you know, in the middle of the jungle. It took us like 3 hours to get there. The bus didn't one bump on the road. It hit every single bump.
Yeah.
And you get there and you just realize how real this is. And then you come back to the hotel and then you're almost like a celebrity because the news is there and they're wanting to interview you, and you're realizing that this debt on your shirt represents something more than what we originally thought it represented, right? And for us, it represented a node that we could sell, we could generate income, we could create passive income. But then all of a sudden you go to this country and you're seeing, 50 to 100 little beautiful children that are coming out, hiding around their villages, and they're seeing us there, and they've never, probably never seen anything like us there. And you're realizing that the projects that we are working on are feeding these children, and you are coming back to the hotel and the media is there because they want to interview you because you are making such an impact in their country. And so for me, it was like, you talked about the humanitarian side. I don't think any of us understood the humanitarian side of what we were doing at all. We all came back going, why are we not talking about the humanitarian side and the impact that we're having? You guys realize that our technology, this is a Explorer, which is a license that's available, by the way,
Right.
that in my opinion is completely overlooked right now, and it is significant. I talked to Jake, the owner, about this today. That technology created or enabled Ghana to find the largest iron ore finding in the country's history. That will put that country into an industrial revolution as a result of the amount of iron ore that they found. Think about the jobs that will create, the families that will feed. That is because of the technology that we have, which is Explorer. And Jake was talking today, and he was just like, do you realize how significant that truly is? And I don't think that we truly connected the dots between the node and the exciting license that's paying us 24/7.
Yeah.
And the volume that's being generated and the commissions we can earn with that side of it. So that to me is what really Ghana represented. And so to me, it just made it real in a way that took it from my head to my heart. That's the best way to describe it.
I love that.
There you go.
Yeah, that's it right there.
Always nail it.
Yep, he coined it right there. Yeah, I think it did the same thing for me as well. And I think, like you said, everybody, because what the debt box is doing, and we talk about that scan technology, it eliminates them having to cut down too many trees, displace villages. It's eco-friendly. The villagers and the people there, they're the ones who get the employment. What I mean? We're helping out, find water, donate water to the villages. I mean, when we went there and and we not everybody could go see the chief. Only a few people went in there to go speak to the chief, and he granted more land. We already have hundreds of acres, and now it's more, and it was just it was phenomenal. It was a really special trip, and so yeah, it's definitely bigger than making money. We're actually changing the world. We're actually helping the planet, and that's huge. That's huge.
So just to give a brief history here, guys, right? There's a debt token, right? This is the ecosystem token. This is the first node that came out. And sadly, we were not around then. We could not get this node when it first came out. We didn't know about this. All right. Now, when we first joined, we were able to get some black gold nodes. All right. Last July. You cannot buy these anymore unless on a secondary market through NFT. They're sold out.
Micro nodes.
Yes, Travis, as always, you are correct. You can get a micro node, which is 1% of a full node. So you can still make money every day from black gold if you get a micro node.
And debt.
And debt, yes. You can also, everyone needs a debt node. If you do not have a debt micro node,
break it down,
get
Travis.
one, at least one, everyone. If you don't talk to me again.
No
All
question.
right.
He's absolutely right on that, by the way.
Ro is what I coined the Cinderella project. We'll talk about that later. Okay, this is agriculture, right? I literally ordered some gummies. I haven't taken them. I'll give them to some people. I don't really like gummies, but I was able to buy gummies with my grow. So Nat G, huge. All right, again, natural gas backed cryptocurrency is unbelievable. All right. And I have a couple Nat Gs. And to me, this is going to be one of the biggest projects that makes the most millionaires that we have. But they are sold out. But you can still get micronodes. You can get micronodes of Nat G. Explorer, again, as Travis said, I think is still one of the most undervalued, misunderstood projects in the world, which is why I don't know if you saw this, Travis, because I know you're busy. But on the last stream we had, I just bought $1,000 of Explorer tokens.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it just hits its all-time high of 3 cents, that's a 16x.
Yeah.
That's a 1.6, guys. A 16x, meaning I put in $1,000, and if it just hits its all-time high, it's 16,000. So from 1,000 to 16,000, if it just hits its all-time high. And again, we are in a bear market. Like, we are in a horrible economy. The markets are down in crypto and Wall Street and everything else. But I see the potential here, and I see the future. DLG, digitally link gold. I have a couple of these micronodes. And again, this goes back to the Ghana field we were in with the gold. Aluminum is amazing. We have the 4 fields. I have multiple aluminum nodes. And I think, again, this is a project way undervalued.
It is.
And now we kind of go into what I would call like almost our phase 3 of the last year, right? Like, we had our initial starting of like, oh, this is cool. We're making money. All right. We go to Ghana. We're like, oh my gosh, we're like changing the world and helping so many people. And then comes like kind of spring, and we have all these new projects. You know, we literally went to Lazy Magnolia in Mississippi, saw them creating these things, and then Bev comes out of like, this is, everyone needs to drink something, whether it's water or a soda or a beer or wine or whatever it is. They're going to keep doing it. And then you're like, wait, we're going to add real estate? And now we're adding a specific one just for water. And now we're adding DCM to mine Bitcoin. So Travis, I don't know if I dropped too much on you, but I guess take me through your mindset, you know, your journey. And obviously we had to learn a lot about tokenomics in the last 3 to 4 months. So whatever you want to share in, you know, what I would say is phase 3 of the debt box IX Global that we've experienced with all these new. Oh, snap. All right. I'll stop talking. He's got the whiteboard out, ladies and gentlemen. Take it away. Hold on. Let's go, baby.
You talked about you talked about one of the most important. We're talking about the sequence of events. There's something that happened around Bev that, in my opinion, was the most important thing that could have ever happened to this entire ecosystem. Yep. And so it's important that you understand at a very basic level, at least, the tokenomics and what happened here. Because let's talk about a normal rug pull situation, and we'll call it an ICO, so an initial coin offering. So an initial coin offering. The 3 of us start a coin project. We want to raise some money. We come up with an idea. It sounds great. We learn how to pitch it. We go out and we start, selling the idea of what it is that we're going to do, right? Now, because we started it, Mike gets 10 million tokens. Mims gets 10 million tokens. I get 10 million tokens. We issue those coins to each other, right? We also go issue those coins to maybe a few celebrities that are going to help us promote this, or influencers that are going to go out there and push it. So we start to garner a little bit of attention. People start buying, price starts to go up, which creates a little bit more momentum. Eventually, the most powerful emotion in the world kicks in, which is FOMO, right? Fear of missing out, drives the price up. We watch it and we watch it until we see it peak, and then we sell all of our tokens collectively at the same time. Crashes the value of the token, and everybody that bought on the way up now is praying that one day maybe it'll come back, okay? So what happened with Bev that proved who we really are? So Bev was one of these projects that just was selling so fast, and it was performing exceptionally well, and the value was just going through the roof. And so Bev comes out on an exchange the day that it hits an exchange, man, people are like seeing money. They're seeing dollar signs. And within the first couple of hours, we had like $300,000-$400,000 worth of sales. And so then we had over $1 million within like 6 hours. Now, here's the beautiful thing. There was plenty of liquidity. The people that wanted to cash in their tokens, they are more than welcome to do that, right? But what happens when you have more selling than buying at that level? It just pushes the price of that coin down. So all of a sudden, we watch the value of this token go down literally almost 90%. Now, at this point, the rest of our ecosystem, because of fear, people are like, oh my gosh, the rug pull's happening. So what happens? The value starts dropping on all the other tokens now, right? You start seeing NatG come down like 30, 40, 50, 60%. And you start seeing, and that's people panic selling. So Friday night, this is when it happened at about 5, 6 o'clock. I know because I'm driving to date night with my wife. My phone just starts ringing. And the first couple of times, I'm like, man, I'm on date night. I've got my wife looks beautiful. I'm not answering the phone. Then it rings again and again, different people. I'm like,
something's going on.
I pick up the phone and people are like, what's happening? Did you see what happened with Bev? What do we do? What are we going to do? And here's the words that I said this to the person on the phone. I said, do you trust the trust? They said, yeah. And I said, if you trust the trust, then what you would be doing right now is you would be buying this dip. And so I literally could not pull over my car fast enough. I'm still mad at myself because I did not have enough crypto sitting in liquidity that was ready to buy, like USDT sitting there ready to buy.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get it in fast enough. And I bought the dip. So I bought it. I bought NatG and I bought Bev. And within 24 hours, the price went back up to where it was. And I have friends of mine that turned $4,000 into $135,000 in 24 hours. Now, what happened? Here's what happened. We have all of these projects, okay? Let's just call this Bev, even though it says DCM. Money from Bev, every single bottle, we get 5%. There's 8,000 to 12,000 bottles that go through that distributor line every hour. That money goes into a trust. That trust sits there all month long, and it has one job. It's just to buy up tokens and burn them. But it's going to do it when it's at its lowest price point. So if there's a massive sell-off, they're going to sit back and they're just going to watch all of these people selling, right? Until it finally, these paper hands start to clear. We call them paper hands because they're just selling quickly. And it starts to settle. And when the dust settles, they come in with millions of dollars. What happens when millions of dollars comes in and starts buying? That price does what? Skyrockets back up.
Yep.
So here is this happening to our ecosystem, in my opinion, is one of the best things that happened because in real time, we watched the tokenomics right before our eyes.
Wow.
Because had that been Pepe or any of these
coins,
it
wouldn't have recovered.
They would have never recovered. But we have a trust that stepped in and started buying at the moment that it was at its lowest. And because of that trust buying, it brought the values right back up again. We're not saying there's not going to be fluctuation, but you know what we are saying? We're saying that we have a rich uncle that's going to sit here and that's going to make sure that he's going to be buying to protect us, to help reduce the fluctuation, but provide the real world value in the token as opposed to artificial BS hyped up value.
He's on fire!
Is what makes us different than anybody in the world. And that happening to Bev, to me, honestly, was the biggest confidence booster for me. It was really the best thing that could have ever happened.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it proved without a doubt that this is not a rug pull environment and ecosystem and who we really are.
Wow.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
And you made me think if I had to, if I don't know, maybe it's not the right word, but if I had to say like, you know, there's something I regret or I wish I can go back and do differently, I just wish I was liquid or had my laptop with me during that time, man.
We were at Bev Day.
We were at Bev Day drinking, was it pecan?
We may have had some beers.
Yeah, I was like, what did you guys do at Bev? That's the first my first thought was like, what happened? Like, what did you guys do down there?
No, we're like driving back.
Nothing left or what? Like
we're literally driving back from Mississippi to New Orleans.
Yeah.
And like you said, my phone's popping off. I'm getting messages. I'm getting calls.
Yeah.
Like, guys.
And I just know.
Talk to you right now.
I just know for a fact, like if we were just, when I see this happening, I'm at my computer, I'm calling Mike, we're talking, we would have had the similar conversation. Something about do you trust the trust? And we would have been buying up everything at that moment. But we was at Bev Day.
We need a shirt that says "Trust the Trust."
Yeah,
Mm.
that's fire.
Seriously, runners come out with it.
I'm gonna get that in the runners dot
Yeah.
shop.
I want a
Makes sense.
royalty. I want a royalty that comes into my
Right.
trust for that one.
I got you. I got you.
No, yeah, it's coming.
You
No, that's
trust
what's
the
coming.
trust.
You have
That's
already
all I-
manifested it. Yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
So moving forward here, guys. Okay, we've had our 1 year anniversary. We know what we have here is the real deal. How do we move forward? What is the vision, the message?
Well, Travis, you got some inside details. I know you do. Like tell it,
Or you're gonna try to get
Travis.
'em- yeah.
Travis got the juice. You know what I'm
Give us
saying?
a little secret.
He got
I don't know anything about
spill some
hydrogen.
beans, man. Spill some
I don't know anything
beans,
about
Travis.
hydrogen projects that
No.
are converted to energy or anything about stuff like that. But what I can say
Okay.
is
Okay.
this is layer one.
I hope y'all heard that.
He doesn't trust. He doesn't know anything about hydrogen, guys.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about hydrogen. I don't know
or
anything
diamonds. Anything about?
I don't know anything about potential like discounted like summer rates on exploring aluminum. I don't know anything that could potentially happen around that kind of stuff. But
Okay.
here's what I do know.
Okay.
I do know that we're launching a layer one. I do believe that it'll be sooner than everybody thinks that it's going to be. And what I want you to understand is that while DET has been playing this game in their knowledge circle of what they know and understand, right, which is oil and gas and hydrogen and these different projects, maybe pharma could be another one. Like they've been playing, this. Here's the thing. They're opening up a blockchain, DET chain, that it is catering to the world and now inviting the world to come in and bring their expertises into our DET chain as well. So think about it from this perspective. These guys haven't just been selling nodes. What they've really been doing is proving a concept, because now what we have is a DET chain that's launching.
Yeah.
We have proof of concept with 10 different projects. We've documented every step of the way, and we've now created a turnkey process for anybody in the world that wants to tokenize an asset. Well, if the tokenization of assets is projected to be worth tens of trillions of dollars.
That's the key word right there, folks. Tokenization of assets. And he's telling you who's leading the way, who's blazing the trail,
There's
who's
no
setting
other
the standard.
blockchain that caters to that at all.
Yeah.
And we're getting ready to roll it out. And not only just roll it out, but we can say, look at our 10 projects. Every one of them is a success. Every one of them has been successful. And here's exactly how we did it. So launch it on our DET chain. Now, why does that matter to you? Because every one of those has to have liquidity, which means they have to pair to the DET token.
Yeah.
Right? There's only so much DET token out there. So as that DET token becomes more and more rare, DET goes up, but so does all the other projects because they're paired to DET, right? So it's a rising tide raises all ships. So what's going to happen is, and not only that, but guys, we will have the pick of the litter now of new projects that are coming on to this DET chain. It's not just going to be, we could have 500 projects launch in the next 24 months on the DET chain, and we're over here sitting here as preferred in I don't want to use the word investors, collectors that are like, yeah, I want that license. No, I don't want that one. Yeah, I'm going to market promote this one. Joe and IX Global have the capability of being able to go and handpick whatever projects we want to participate in. And this is so much bigger than we all understand, because when they release this blockchain, there are certain elements to this blockchain that most blockchains are not as decentralized as they would have everybody believe.
True.
There's certain aspects that are that truly don't fall into the true definition of decentralization. Like if I'm a government three-letter agency, I can still come in and I can take down servers. I can still go in and find wallets.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what if you had a blockchain that was now operating no longer on servers, but on 500,000 or 1 million phones around the world, and behind the software was the actual IP address, and there's nothing to subpoena. There's no way to ever, it's truly decentralized because the network is run from here, but not just from here, it's to there and to there and to there. And everywhere around the world. So if you really think about what these guys have been doing and the brilliance here, these software nodes they've been selling have been part of a much bigger picture, which allows them to launch the truly first decentralized blockchain. And with every phone that comes on that blockchain, the network only gets faster. It doesn't get clogged up the way that a lot of the other networks do. It only gets faster. So it's so much bigger than we really understand. So that's where this is going. And it's bigger than just a few new projects that we may see down the road here. I think we got some great projects still to sell, but in the last 12 to 24 months, guys, this is unbelievable where this is going.
This the Apple of the blockchain, man. I mean, I blew a fuse.
I just got
with that.
excited.
Yeah, I done blew a fuse with that, and I think that because when you start talking about the devices and you start talking about the bigger vision, and then layer one and the liquidity pairs for debt, and that adding more value to the debt token, and then more exposure to what we're doing, and then now getting more exposure to other projects that are going to launch on there that we can be early to. And when you're talking about, we talk about the wealth transfer, and we talk about the tokenization of assets, and in this space, you want to be first. You want to be with the companies that are disruptive, that are blazing a trail, creating and setting a trend. And there is no company out there that's doing what the DebtBox is doing. I mean, we have manifested, attracted, found that company. Anybody who's trying to do what we're doing, we're light years ahead of them. You know what I mean? So, this is the whole thing about, why we get so excited, why we're so passionate about it, why this is what we talk about, it seems like 24/7, because, when we're looking at, what's going on around the world with governments and institutions and the fight for the crypto and the blockchain industry. And then when you realize what the DebtBox is doing, and like Travis talked about with, the liquidity and the trust being there to back up and support these projects. It's not based off of hype, hope, speculation, false promises. It's actually real value, real substance. Like, this is what people have been looking for in the blockchain and crypto space. They just haven't realized it, but it's here. And man, I'm just excited for the next, like you talked about, Travis, the 6 and 12 months. If people are excited about what we're doing now, that this is why Jason says people have no idea how big this is. If you're selling tokens now, especially if you got a Half-Life token, if you got DRIP or DCM and you've been selling, now if you know how to trade and you've been selling to buy some more at the support line, and then kind of accumulate more that way, that's another thing. But if you've just been selling, just trying to make some money right now, you're selling your future short. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're stealing money from yourself or something. Like you because DCM, DRIP, right? All these tokens, these Half-Life projects. Travis, and I try to get people to understand, and Jason does this too in the Telegram group, but debt started out at a penny, and debt is a Half-Life project. So when you when you look at what the debt token is now, being a Half-Life project, and you understand what will grow, and DCM and DRIP are Half-Life projects too. They started out at a penny. We're gonna see dollars for these tokens here relatively soon.
All those people said to me, I'll just wait until the price of these licenses come down to like 500,000 before I buy. I said, okay,
stupid.
That's no problem. But the people that bought the licenses that bought the licenses and participated in that accumulation were all the people that were celebrating online this last week. It's showing how their balance went up like $7 grand in 1 week. I don't even want to know what Eric. I just saw Eric Garrison on here. I can't even imagine what happened.
The Node Master. The Node Master.
800 nodes, whatever he saw. But my point is this: those type of projects. This is my philosophy. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It's my philosophy. I'm a big believer in accumulation, so I will always buy a new license when it comes out. I will spend the money on it. I will, because I want the accumulation, especially on these Half-Life projects. And then what I'll do is I'll wait until the license does start to come down in value a little bit of time's come in. And now what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll pick up 10 to 20 more of these DRIP licenses. And I'll tell you why. Because even though the license isn't paying out as much, if I go buy 10 to 20, I can get myself back up to a good amount of accumulation. But the more important thing is now what I'm doing is I acquired the NFT at the same NFT at 7,000 as it is at 500. So now when I go get 10 to 20 of these licenses before it sells out, I'm acquiring the NFT that allows me to build my portfolio balance. And in the future, we will be able to borrow against that portfolio balance and leverage that portfolio balance, right? Wow. So I like to get in with the accumulation, but then I also like to come back in on the
some drip.
I was going to say this the wrong way. I like to come in on the back side, and then I like to get Mike, stop. It's a long day, and then buy up those licenses at $500 a license and get as many of those as I can, so that I can really maximize this.
Yeah. And one of the other components.
On the backside, you can maximize, Travis. I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say that where it's not going to come out bad.
So no pun intended. Right. No pun intended.
But
I want to add on to one thing that he said on there, because folks, he just told you that drip, and I think drip is still in the back office for 500, right? I think it's still some drip licenses.
It is. It's $500 right now.
It's $500 right now for a drip license.
This is the most affordable node ever in the history of drip.
So of nodes of IX. So it's $500 right now, but when they all sell out and they go to the secondary market and drip is at a much higher price, you're getting the value of that node. And then he talked about people who, your portfolio of your nodes, the value of that, and you being able to borrow against that. Now, the other thing that people want to keep in mind is, and what Jason has said in the Telegram group, those nodes alone, the airdrops, okay, the airdrops that we're going to get are so significant that's part of the main value. Like, the airdrops are bigger than the tokens you're going to be accumulating. You know what I mean? People don't understand how big the airdrops is. And go ahead, Travis. You might have something to say about them airdrops. I don't know. Okay.
No, the airdrops in itself are going to
the airdrop. Well, yeah, the airdrops too.
That's one of the key reasons why, number one, you just want to have, if you don't have any debt, just having the debt micro licenses gives you airdrops in itself as well. Future airdrops on some of the other projects. Half-Life, somebody said, I don't understand Half-Life. I'm trying to think of an easy way to explain it. Bitcoin every 4 years has a halving event. They take half of the tokens out of circulation, right? So they take half of them. So if I'm getting 10 tokens this year, next year, and then there's a halving event, right? Next year, I'm only getting 5 tokens per year. And then the next year I'm getting 2.5, and the next year I'm getting so forth. So you get the idea, right? But the thing is that as I'm removing those from circulation, they're becoming more scarce, which means that they're also becoming more valuable. So Half-Life projects over time, you can see here the amount of tokens that are essentially each year 1, year 2, year 3, that are ultimately going to be burned. And in the projects that they've recently introduced, they've burned 50% of the tokens right out of the gate, which is significant. And so these Half-Life projects don't work in the same way that these deflationary projects work, where you have a trust that's buying. It works a little bit differently, but the outcome is similar when it comes to creating more scarcity in overall supply and demand. What the Half-Life projects have proven, though, is that, especially more recently, they've done a great job at sustaining value and even giving some really good faster growth out of the gate than some of the deflationary projects that are really built for more long-term holding.
When I want to say, hey to Caitlin, I miss you, and you're a great student. And I think happy birthday. I think you just had a birthday. Okay, so let me show them, Travis, what just happened.
And wait for it. Hold on a couple seconds. Oh, I did it. I done bought me another drip license. You pay with wallet. I just did it, folks. Pay with wallet.
Okay. You're like, that NFT.
We convinced Ricardo to buy more nodes.
Oh yeah, confirmation.
So this is DCM. This is a Half-Life token. Okay, so you can see here, all of these tokens, 750 million, came out in 2 months. 2 months, because that year one was done in 2 months.
Yeah,
basically from like May to July 1st. So half the tokens, Half-Life, came out in the first year, but the year was only 2 months. So when those were coming out, everyone is getting so many tokens, right? So when people get these tokens, they're like, oh, I'm going to sell them for dollars. What a great idea. I'm going to sell them for dollars all along this way. So people are just selling the tokens, driving the price down. And then all of a sudden, the half-life happens and there's a halvening. And now you ain't getting so many tokens every day, are you?
You'll never get that back, by the way.
Yeah,
You'll
never can get that
back.
Yeah, you
You
can never
never will.
accumulate that back. Yeah, never.
And guess what happens to the price? Literally July 1st at 5 cents, we spiked up to, let's
60.
just call it 69, Travis.
Mm.
All right. Now we're down to 50. Guys, that's huge. That's a 5x in a bear market, horrible economy where Bitcoin and all the other markets have just been basically going the whole way. But because of the tokenomics and the half-life, we have a deflationary ecosystem. So I don't really care what you people in Washington, D.C. are doing or how many dollars you're creating, because we don't measure our wealth in dollars. We get assets backed by real world commodities like Bitcoin mining and natural gas and oil and aluminum and beverages. You can't stop us. So it's game over.
Yes, huge.
Well, and now I think people understand the question when the pricing changed and they started coming out with these half-life tokens.
Mm-hmm.
People didn't really understand the concept of why the licenses were more expensive or didn't see the value. They figured they would wait. But those that did get in on, and I literally was fighting to be in on day one on Drip because I wanted to make sure that I could accumulate. And when I watched what happened just last week, I was blown away.
Yeah,
blown
I
away.
agree. The only other thing I'll say, Travis, that we've been telling people as well is that when we got in with Aluminum and Explorer, right after around that time, they did a 300-400x. I remember we had screenshots of it, and that was because the halvening had took place. And Aluminum and Explorer have a halvening coming up here October 1st, and so we've been letting people know.
This is it, guys. This is the juice. Don't ever come and complain to me about not giving you the inside secrets right now. Go ahead, Mims.
Yeah. So you can see, when we first started, I mean, we were mining these tokens before, they even got listed, and they got listed, and we had a halvening October 1st, and that massive spike up you see is from the halvening. Now, once again, we talked about, bear market. It didn't matter what was the market. We're diverging from the market. This ecosystem, if the market, in the Bitcoin market and the bull market comes up, of course it's going to help us. But, the trust is there regardless. The money is coming from the world regardless. The tokenomics is there regardless. So right now, if you look at Explorer and Aluminum, they're at all-time lows. It looks like. I mean, it's almost there. It's like right around there on the chart. Maybe not all time.
It's definitely
it's not all time. Yeah, well, yeah. It's
I mean, from when they started, even
when it started,
they were at 0.4 of a penny. Now we're at 0.2.
Yeah, we're at 0.2, right? So massive opportunity to accumulate a lot of tokens before the October 1st halvening, because literally that supply is going to get cut in half. And now history doesn't, past results, as we say, Travis, doesn't necessarily, indicate future, results or what's going to happen in the future. But what happened when we had a halvening after October 1st with Exploring that in Aluminum, we saw that massive spike. And now we're having another halvening come up October 1st, but this whole time we've had burns, significant amount of burns. Okay, so now the supply is way less from those burns. Now we have a halvening coming up. Okay, and it's massive opportunity right now, not just to buy the license, but for those who obviously buy the license, but for those who want to accumulate some tokens right now, this is the time to get in before October 1st. And as the tokenomics kick in, we see another massive rise in these projects. And that's not even including the announcements that are coming out with our satellite partners. That's not including the announcements that's coming out with the Aluminum project. So,
man,
I think that Explorer and Aluminum are phenomenal.
So undervalued.
I really do, and I think that people and they agree, Dead agrees. They rolled out so many projects so fast that it took away the focus off of Explorer and aluminum. And then what happened was people started cashing in aluminum and Explorer to be able to buy the new projects, which drove the token value down, which then gave the impression that they weren't good projects.
Mm-hmm.
So in my opinion, they're primed exactly like what you just said, Mike, because I believe that a lot of that downward pressure was a result of people wanting to buy the newer projects.
Yeah.
And so I think that we're positioned extremely well with that having, but I also think that Explorer and aluminum are still phenomenal buys. I mean, Explorer has enough aluminum to mine for the next 200 years,
Mm-hmm.
or excuse me, aluminum does. And Explorer, there's some incredible things that are happening. Like I mentioned earlier, you caught on that little bit of hint where we started just scanning, farmers, land for oil. And now we're getting these huge contracts with these huge countries. You should understand the potential with Explorer and that license. So those are phenomenal licenses that should not be overlooked, and really now, in my opinion, should be brought back into the conversation, especially with the timing of the halvings coming up. People get so caught up in the dollar value of what a license is producing today.
Stupid.
It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant
Doesn't
unless
matter.
you're living on that money today. It's just like, earlier we were talking about these Bitcoin miners. You could use your computer to mine Bitcoin, and you could get 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 Bitcoin a day with your home computer. Well, do you guys realize those computers, a lot of them ended up in landmines because they threw them away because they didn't realize the Bitcoins were worth anything. I've heard stories of people that literally went to landmines and spent weeks and weeks and weeks trying to find their computers after they threw them away because they didn't think that they were really worth anything because they were focused on the dollar value, and they didn't realize that all of a sudden, in a matter of a very short period of time, when Bitcoin just skyrocketed, they're like, oh my gosh, I threw that computer away and it had thousands of Bitcoin on it, right?
Wow.
So it's the same thing here. People get focused on that dollar value, and it's not about the dollar, it's about
Not at all.
information.
Yep. That's it. That's the takeaway, folks. I mean,
If
nobody
you are
has any
measuring your
excuse.
wealth in dollars, you will lose.
Yeah.
You cannot, and I posted this and I got it from Travis because he is one of my greatest mentors. You cannot save your way out of inflation. It's impossible. You cannot save dollars to beat inflation today. Absolutely impossible.
Yeah.
So Travis, you are absolutely the man. I think this is like your third or fourth live or Zoom in a row. So I want you to go to bed and give Summer a kiss and spend some time with the family. But let's go ahead, have you give your last words, and then we'll have Mims close us out and we'll be done.
Man, I just think that we have a moment in time. I'm sitting here looking at this. I want to show this. I showed it on my live earlier because it represents all of us truly. But this was something that was really special to me when we were at the last event. Joe presented this to me. This was the CEO award. And it's only given out once a year. Viraj got it in year one. And to be able to be given that in year two.
Travis, I think we lost your audio. Can you hear him, Ricardo?
Can you hear me?
Oh,
Yeah, we can hear you now.
You're good now.
Yeah.
So that was a really special moment for me. But what I want you to understand is I guess for me, that represents like year one. It's indicative to this team, this community. It's all of ours. Like that, I didn't do that, and everybody did that. We all collectively did that together. And I just think that we have this moment in time that. How do I say this? The windows of opportunity in this industry, they don't open very often, and they don't stay open very long.
Right.
But when they are open, incredible things can happen. Like in a year's time, you can go from being broke to being given a CEO award like this that's life-changing, right? So we have this window of time right now, this moment in time, and I believe that it's extremely special. And if you are in a position where you can't buy licenses, you can't open your mouth and go tell people about this, because the short-term money here is in going out and sharing what we have with others, right? You can make enough money to then start building and acquiring licenses and start building your wealth creation on the other side. And so, there's a lot of opportunity here. I go to bed at night laying awake because it bothers me so much to know that people are squandering this opportunity. Like, it genuinely bothers me when I lay in bed at night and I realize that there's somebody that is not taking this serious. Do you realize that in 12 months or less, your entire life could be changed for the rest of your life if you just made a decision and you managed that decision every day and went out there and started educating people about this, telling people what we have. You don't need to be an expert. You just need to be able to show them the app, point them to a video, and follow up and do that consistently. And you can be, your life can change. So that's my closing thoughts for today.
That's fire.
Mims, close us out here, brother. What a year this has been, man. Absolutely phenomenal.
Man, I feel like, some other people, it's like, yo, it's been a year already. Like, really? It's been a year, and I'm excited for the future, man. I'm just telling you, I just thank God that we found this project early on. And this is what's, one of the things that gets me really excited about, and I talked about it before on one of my TikTok live streams. This is a technology company, okay? The DebtBox has technology, right? And so, this is, it's so valuable and it's so exciting because you want to be first to companies that bring something to the world that solve a problem, and that creates a lot of value and opportunity for people who can see what this technology or what this company is doing ahead of time, and them holding on to how they have positioned themselves in that company and that producing real value, life-changing results for them over time. I like to look at this like, the .com bubble. If you feel like, you missed out on Google, Amazon, Facebook, Netflix, IBM or whatever have you during the Y2K crash, and, these, stocks were, dollars or whatever have you. Nobody knew what Amazon was going to do. Nobody knew what Apple was going to do. But 10, 15, 20 years later, those of them who are holding on to, those stocks now and the value of them, their lives changed forever. While other people were fudding them out the market, telling them they know what they're talking about. So this is the opportunity that we have because it's the blockchain. The blockchain is just as revolutionary as the internet, as .com, if not greater. There's going to be more wealth created than ever because of the blockchain, because of where the economy is right now too, as well, this shift. So you're literally looking at new millionaires, new billionaires, and probably some trillionaires coming because of this wealth transfer. And it's going to be epic. It's just going to be epic. We're going to be able to do things. Look, put it like this. You're either going to be in the Jetsons era with your family or you're going to be in the Flintstones. Okay. I saw that and I was like, that pretty much that's the reality people are going to be living in. Either you're going to be living like the Jetsons or you're going to be living like the Flintstones. What makes that reality for one person versus the next is who they know, what they know, and what they do with their money. So this is the time to be a part of real projects, real commodities, real assets, real systems, real community. I'm fired up and excited. I love you guys. I love what we're doing. I know we're changing lives. I know the value that we have. Man, lace up. Let's get wealthy.
Travis, thank you so much for coming on, man. Appreciate you.
And one more thing, I just got to throw this out there, guys. When it comes to network marketing in general, just know this, dealing with ignorance and small-minded people is the price that you have to pay for success.
Like the channel.
Nice.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
Dealing with
we don't even have to. The
price that you have to pay for success in this industry. You guys have a great one. Thanks for having me on. We appreciate you guys. Always a great time on the run.
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll see
Lace
you.
up. Let's get wealthy. Peace.
Peace.
All right.
On my cash stack, high yields on stable coins, yeah, that's where my bag at. All I really need is Wi-Fi, get money on DeFi, mega cash on MetaMask. You better run when the runners run, show you how to get your money up. Dollar inflated like bubble gum, markets are jumping like double dutch. Buying up gold till I get it.
Yeah, I know.